And we are going. What's going on with everybody? It is your boy Eric, aka Young God, coming to you live in the Green Dungeon, giving us here a real raw rugged. And I got some man other line, man. I'm gonna let him introduce himself, man. Who do we have here today?
I go by the name of D2x from Chicago. Been making music since like say 2016, 17, and just continuously just trying to push the envelope, push my creativity, and also just continuously being genuine and you know growing throughout the years. So
This is
yeah,
about to be an insane way to start this interview off because I was not expecting to ask this until I'm just looking at you.
yeah.
Are you East African or Somalian at all?
Nah, man, nah,
You ever get that?
nah, never,
You got an East
never.
African face.
Yeah, nah. You know what's crazy? Somebody told me that like growing up that I resemble Waka Flocka for some reason
That's hilarious.
without the dreads, bro. So I'm like, you know what? I'm like, y'all can have it, but
That's fun. You know the East African people?
nah,
They all
nah,
have the same face. Like
that's
they
crazy.
all have the same face. I went to an
Nah,
East African baby shower one time, and literally from the youngest girl to the oldest woman was beautiful. Like all of them
yeah,
are beautiful people. Like yeah,
yeah,
shout to the East Africans. They're a beautiful bunch of
well,
humans. But yeah, man.
yeah,
This is an unexpected interview because I you're just getting on my radar. So I kind of want to take a step back and tell you how I even know who you are.
yeah,
So last year I know you dropped the album. I didn't hear that last year. I'm just hearing it this year. The
yeah,
reason that I know about you now is because I did a video, and I'm learning about a lot of people from this video. I did a video at the very beginning of the year asking my subscribers, who do you want to see me interview this year? D2X, D2X, D2X. I'm like, who in the hell is D2X? I'm like, who in the hell is
yeah,
that? So I didn't know if they were trying to goddamn hack my YouTube channel. I'm like, what are these numbers and letters in my comment section? So I go and look you up, and I see the album, and I'm like, all right, I was late. It was really late. So I'm like, I'm listening to this tomorrow when I'm got a lot of time, sun's out. It looked like a sunny album from the album cover. So let me listen to it then. And I thoroughly enjoyed the album. So I was like, all right, I like this. I want to interview him. So this is how we got
yeah,
here. So I just wanted to let you know that. So because
yeah, man.
I don't even know if you ever seen my videos before, but I just wanted to let
No,
you know who I, how I even found you.
you know what's funny, dude? I've been familiar with you for a little while. I think I want to say even like dating back to like 2020. Um, Trying to think. I think you did an interview with Overcast, which
I
he
did.
has like production credits on my album. Who else? Seen the Navy Blue interview, the Mike interview. I seen the one with No Name. Seen some others, and then to be honest, like leading up to this, when you sent me the one with Kevin Gates, which is crazy. Like that's one of your most viewed videos. I didn't even get a chance to like see that one, but after watching, like honestly, that's one of my favorite ones because like the stuff that he said, and then just the way that y'all were able to like kind of trade off on it being like a genuine conversation, even though you had like a short period of time to like get it off. Like I felt like that was amazing. So no, I definitely am appreciative of everything you do in the culture. So I kind of tried my best to stay tapped in to what's going on, even though like everyone is kind of on different platforms. But definitely been tapping into YouTube as well. So
I appreciate that,
yeah,
man. First of all, two, I feel like I say this every interview. I gotta stop saying this, but
yeah, right.
that Kevin Gates interview, off the top of my head, did not know I was going to interview him until like 10 minutes before I did the
Wow.
interview. So that was not planned. I have nothing to ask that nigga. I just went in and kind of did that. So the fact that it came out that genuine and kind of like that natural, I'm glad that people liked it because I was very nervous doing it because I had no idea I was going to interview him at all.
So like the questions you had for him was just off the top of the head.
I went to the concert to
Yeah,
do because sometimes I do like public interviews where I'm like interviewing people in the street, interviewing people going to the concert. That's what I went there to do. I just so happened to know somebody who worked at the venue who was like, "Hey, you want to interview Kevin Gates?" I was like, "I guess," and it was like, "All right, let's do it." So
yeah,
that's just how it happened. So yeah, that was not planned at all. That was just off top of the head.
man. And for him to say that like man, I rock with you and I don't like people like that's crazy. Like
He said, "What did he say, big brother? I don't like. I swear to God, I
yeah,
don't like people, big bro. I don't like people, but I
bro,
like your
he
energy."
he was dead serious too. So that's real. That's real for sure.
So the funny thing about like that interview and this interview, or his energy in your music, I feel like because one thing that kind of I like about your music is that it's very feels very genuine. It feels very the common man type of music, if that makes any sense. So I'm finna compare you to somebody. I don't know if you ever heard this nigga before, but
Mm-hmm.
there's a rapper named Lute. You ever heard of Lute before?
I'm familiar with Luke, but I honestly I haven't got a chance to like dive into his catalog. He's with Dreamville,
Yeah,
correct?
J.
Yeah,
Cole artist.
yeah,
So Lute, he was the first rapper I ever heard, and I was like, bro, this sound like this is the most like everyday man rap. I was like, this nigga just clocked out of Walmart to make this
yeah,
album,
right.
and that's a compliment. Like it's not
Yeah,
like a diss or like I really just feel like this nigga is giving like 9 to 5 raps just for the common man. And I wouldn't say that's you specifically, but the way that you talk about life and the way that you just are very like, because you could be honest and because everybody's problems aren't the same, so you can be honest and vulnerable, but it don't feel like the common man type of rap. But listen, the way you put it, it just feels like, man, it's just the everyday guy who just knows how to rap, and I feel like that comes across very well. And I don't know because I've never interacted with one of your fans before, but I would assume that's probably one of the reasons that people gravitate to you.
yeah. I definitely get that a lot. I feel like, to be honest, I put out besides Hotel 1105, like I had another project called The Color Blue that I put out in 2021. It was like I dropped it in like March of that year, so it was kind of like the latter end of the pandemic, and I feel like around that time, people were even more eager to listen to new music because there was a lot of stuff going on at that time. So I feel like definitely in the underground, it was a great time for people to like kind of gravitate to new artists. And when I put that project out, like it exceeded even more of my expectations what I had at the time. And I feel like, to be honest, it's not even a thing that I kind of just like think about. It's just I'm just naturally just making things like that's coming from my heart, and I feel like from that album, and I was trying to figure things out even prior, with figuring out like what my audience is and how I really want to carry my music. And I feel like when that one came out, I finally figured out, like, it was that aha moment where I finally found myself in this niche. So I feel like ever since then, and even like my whole life, this is just the type of person I've been. So it's like it's translating into music. Just I feel like it's flowing pretty well because this is just who I am, even outside of making art. So
And I think you could tell. I feel like it's
yeah,
very apparent that's who you are. It's very centric to you, which is funny because even though it's a very like talking about your family, talking about your faith, talking about all this stuff, even though it's very centered to you, a lot of people I feel like can relate to you. And that's why like J. Cole. Like I feel like a lot of people got on J. Cole at the beginning because nigga was like, I'm in debt.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? A lot of people felt that. So I feel like similar to you, you have that same, not the same messaging, but the way your messaging is, the way you put it out there is very similar to like a J. Cole or like a Lute. And that's why I think you'll have like a lot of success because you're very talented. You're very talented,
I
man.
appreciate that, bro.
You're very
For
talented,
real.
man. Also, I love the. I could tell you in a black household because of painting behind it. You would never
I know.
find that anywhere else outside of a black household. That's so hard. What is that? What is she like an angel? I can't tell.
Yeah. This actually been on this wall for a minute. Like I'm at my OG's house, and yeah, man. Like I don't know, man. I just feel like what's funny is by you saying that. Because one long story short, one time I put out this freestyle. This was a few years back, and I had resurfaced it and posted it on Twitter. Probably like sometime last year, and it went crazy. And then like just going back to the comment you made, like somebody was also said like they was like I could tell they said that wall looks reminds me of my grandma's basement. I know you I know something like that. I know you were at grandma's house or something like that. It was funny, but I'm like, yeah, like it is what it is.
That is a very black
But yeah,
mom/grandma background. So,
yeah,
and like I said, it's one thing about your album. I wrote this in my notes for the
yeah.
interview. I said this is a wholesome album. This is a super duper wholesome album. Anybody who really knows me, and not a lot of people may not know this, I'm a big wholesome guy. Like I love wholesome content.
Yeah.
Like I could sit there and watch those videos where like I don't know, like a dad come home from like war or whatever, and they surprise the daughter. Like I love videos like that, or just
Yeah.
just very wholesome type of stuff. And listen to
Yeah.
this album. I'm a very big gospel music fan. I love gospel music. Christian rap music, I think it come off very corny, very try
Yeah.
hardy, just not very. Like I said, it doesn't feel natural a lot of times. I feel like they're trying to put a message in. I don't know if you feel offended by this, but this is like a Christian rap album, but it's good. It's like a this is like a really good
Yeah.
Christian rap album.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like honestly, like I feel like I could really talk about anything. I just feel like at this time of me making Hotel 1105, I think that I wanted to bring it so close with spirituality because I felt like I was dealing with so much at the time, and like I think I wanted to make something like what. Well, let me take a few steps back. Actually, like the funny thing is about this project was it was really supposed to be celebratory. That's why it's kind of like sunny on the cover. You see the couple or whatever, and this was at the time where I was actually like formally married, which I'll get into. But like, so it was basically like a celebration in between me and my wife at the time, and it just so happened to turn like make a left turn in a way because the things that I was dealing with was literally happening at the same time. So literally like half of the album I recorded in 2022, and then I took like a long ass break from even like making music at all because it was just so much going on at the time, like trying to dealing with the ups and downs of like just the marriage and potential divorce, and also like me even like questioning like my own sanity and the things that I believe in and etc. So that's why I was like sometimes having battles with my faith, battles with just really trying to see like the brighter end of my situation. So I felt like creating this was like it was the best way for me to like kind of put these things that I was feeling into like art, and it helped me like kind of cope and also get through the process like while I was dealing with it and afterwards. So towards the end of the album, that's when like literally like we kind of separated, and then the front end, was was also like me dealing with the issues. So this whole thing together was kind of like me trying to continuously like find my way through life, at the age of 25, and at the time, I'm 26 now. And also, like, always remembering and reminding myself that, I feel like, you know, me, as just as a person, I can't really get anywhere that I want to without God. So that's why I felt like I threw a lot of that in there because that's just who I am. Like I'm not gonna say I'm like the most religious dude, but also I feel like I've always had like a strong faith throughout my life. So I feel like by it coming through a personal place, I feel like that's something that people that whoever is interested in wanting to believe or have a better relationship with God could relate to. So yeah, I get what you're saying. Like sometimes with Christian rap, it could definitely could be a little corny, and also sometimes people could be a little too preachy. And I'm not the type of person that's gonna tell anybody what to believe in or not. But I'm just telling you how I feel, what I think, and hopefully that everybody else could be able to understand. So
I think the reason that this comes off
yeah,
that way is because I think this is a very inward album. So you're looking
yeah,
inward, and I feel like
yeah,
when you're looking inward, definitely during like times of like stress or trauma or whatever, that's when people usually look for God or they look for a higher power. Or they look for just something deeper than just what we know is earth and just the physical realm or whatnot. Some people when they look inward, they mostly try to look at a spiritual realm or just something above us. And I feel like that really came out, and that's why it feels like a Christian album or a gospel album because Faith is probably my favorite song. I love that song, that beat, that
like, like,
I love that beat, and the hook is what you say? Is it my faith or is it just the price of being great? I decided all this time with all these tears over my face, and I'm trying to make that's so hard,
yeah, thank
man.
you, dog.
What they say, man? Niggas say he said, and they say, men don't cry. And I done seen a million tears coming down my eyes. Is it my face? Bro, that's my jam right there, bro. That is
Man, thank you.
my song. Love that song, man. Love that.
What's funny is like those drums was actually out like the original Kanye drum kit, and then actually, what's funny, bro? I'm glad you brought that up. Like I had that beat for 5 years. Like had that beat since had that no actually yeah I had it since 2018, and I held on it for so long because I felt like at the time I loved it, and I'm like, you know what, I want to give myself some time to develop a little bit, and I just sometimes I do that often, like with projects that I work on, I'll hold certain things just because it might not just be the time for it, or after you record enough songs, you feel like you got the crop of the album that you want to put together and create and I'm like, you know what, I'll say this for later. So I had that for a while, and then when we finally worked on it again, literally like it sounded a lot different. Well, it sounded pretty much similar, but a little bit different than what's out now. It was a little muddy, and we kind of cleaned it up. Me and my guy Ro Moore in Chicago, and he turned that song to like even like better than what it was before. So that's definitely one of my favorites, and that's something that I always like perform when I'm doing my shows. Man, I was really going through it when I played that. So it's funny because like I know it's so much music coming out nowadays, but what I will say is I feel like this is something that people will always be able to stick to forever, no matter how long I'm doing this. And man, when I was playing that song, like even dude, like this is like years before. Well, actually, like a year before it even came out, and I'm just riding around in my car in the summer, just driving around the city, and just thinking, like, damn, like I can't wait for people to hear this, but two, I'm like, something that I made is really actually getting me through these times, and it's like, man, I just can't wait for it to come out. So I played it so many times where I was having like some low moments or dark days, and I'm just glad that the way that people feel about it, and even the comments you made on that song is like got the same feeling that I felt when I heard it. So
Like you said I could tell it came from because I joked with myself and I was like, nigga, is this a unreleased Kanye beat? Because that's what it sounded like to me. So the fact you said the drums are
yeah,
from a Kanye drum package, I could tell because it sounds like from that early 2000s, like, because I feel like it was a very specific time where vocals were sampled like that, and that was like that
true.
Kanye J Dilla type of era or whatever, and that's what it sounded like, and it's a beautiful beat. Who made the beat?
So my guy Ro in Chicago, he runs a studio called Feature Farms. Ro has had a hand in a lot of artists, to be honest. But yeah, Ro is amazing. It was him, and then oh man, I'm trying to think at the top of my head. It was this other guy that I got the actually originally got the beat from. It was like something that I found on YouTube.
Mm.
Um, man, I wish I know his. You know what? Let me find his name because I hate for feeling like I can't remember names.
Is it Christopher Pickett? I see he's credited. Is that who it is?
That's his real name. You know what?
Got you.
It's but let me find his real name, and I'll tell you the story about that.
I mean, yeah, because he did a great job with the beat.
Incredible, bro. What's his name?
Is it my faith? Yeah, that's so hard.
Hold on.
You said you met him off of YouTube?
No, it was no, it was. I had that. Remember, I grabbed that beat in like 2018. So
Got you.
I grabbed it, um, and then I just kept it for a long time. So it's like I usually have like I usually try to create relationships with people that I make stuff with, but this person in particular, like I ain't really get a chance to actually talk to him for real. It was just something that I bought, but I still credit him and everything, and then me and my guy Ro kind of like went over it. Um, Damn, I'm trying to remember his dude name. Uh,
Do, do you do that a lot with beats, by the way, where like maybe you or Rower kind of like rearrange it or re
Sometimes, but everybody I work with is pretty like in house. It was just that one particular I held on for a while, and but we redid it. When I find his name,
yeah,
I get to it. My bad.
you good, you good.
But yeah, yeah,
But yeah, like I said, and then you talked about the themes of the album where you're talking about faith and you're talking about
yeah.
relationships and you're talking about trust and family, and like you said, there's definitely a turn in the album where it does come to the point where it's like not uneasiness, but you talk about separation, you talk about problems in a relationship when you're going through that real life real life like situation, does that affect you to the point where you don't want to make me like, you know what I'm saying? Like, how do you balance music
Yeah.
and like separating from like a fiance?
Um, you know what? I feel like to be honest, this is like the way that I create. I know everyone has like a different process, but for me, um, I kind of just try to jot down ideas and then I might jot lines down. I'm literally like every day I'm subconsciously and literally like kind of thinking ahead when I'm making records. Like I'm letting my life be the driving force in creating songs. So it's not like I might not sit down and try to make a whole entire song in a few hours or I knock it out real quick. Like I might make even like just a small portion of that record. Then I go live a little bit, but I'm still thinking about it at the top of my head. I come back to it, and it's kind of like a checkup with the song. So it's like very different variations in different parts of my life that are very meaningful, all coming together to make this record. So if I'm like having a low day and I don't feel like writing, like I'm not gonna do it. I don't never want to force anything, and I feel like everything that I make is off feeling. So say even if it's a week or two that passed, I still haven't went back to it, but I still have this section of this song that's already like the leading point of where I'm trying to go. I'm still thinking about it. Next time I come back to it, now I literally have like so many other situations that it might have gone on or things that I've already thought about that I'm continuously thinking about, and it just kind of pours all out on this record. So it's damn near like kind of like working on a painting that might take a long time. You let it dry, you come back, you add other layers to it. So that's kind of how I make literally a lot of my songs. Sometimes I might knock stuff out real quick depending on how I feel, but literally like 95% of everything I make is literally like kind of in spurts, if that makes sense. So I live and come back to it.
I like when artists do that.
Yeah.
Jack Harlow got a song called Denver, where the first verse of Denver, he's like saying like how he's like feeling like he's down, like he don't really got it. Then he wrote the next verse like a month later, and he talks about that in the song. Like it's because he starts the first song like this is March 5th of whatever. This is now May of whatever, and I wrote this
Wow.
in Denver, and he's just like kind of saying like where my mind at is now. And I like when rappers it's like almost like a time capsule type of thing, and I
Yeah.
like when rappers do that. That's I think that's very artful because like you said, if you sitting down like I'm gonna force this, it probably won't come out well as if you actually let life happen, you know, and let it come to you. And like I was saying, with what you saying, talking about divorce and things like that, did that? I mean, cause bro, I mean, nigga, I got damn stubbed my toe. I don't want to do nothing for the day. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So something like that,
Yeah.
like how do you push through to the point where like you continue making music and make this album? Like, was there a point where it got rough and you was like, I don't even want to do this no more, or did you always want to push through and make the album?
Definitely. But you know, I think I was like mentioning to you earlier, like it, like I had like half of it done like the summer of 2022. I was trying to drop it in 2022, and but I'm glad I did. To be honest, I know it's very risky, especially for somebody that's kind of up and coming to take like a 2 year break from one project to the next. But I felt like um, the community that I've been able to build, the relationships that I've been able to build, and just the trust that people feel like I'm gonna deliver is kind of like something that sometimes, um, you know, just as artists we might not understand, but it's to me it's a big time like perk to have, and I don't feel like everyone might not have that, and I feel like that's something that I'm grateful for because people literally are open to wait. So, but on top of that, I was also just thinking to myself like, well, I'm not about to rush this album. I was knocking it out pretty quick, but I'm like, you know what? I just want to give myself time, and then, you know, my guy Rose was just telling me like, you know what? Like, come back when you're ready. I was dealing with a lot. Like, this was like going through like, you know, like paperwork and court and all of this time. This is the first time actually. Like, this is the first time that I was dealing with a potential divorce situation with the person I was with. Um, so at this time, I'm like, you know, going through it, still trying to make music, still trying to keep my head afloat or whatever. And I'm like, you know what? That was hard though to deal with because 2022 was a great year for music. Like a lot of people was dropping. I remember like the Denzel Curry album that was fire. Like so much other things that was coming out at the time, and just as a person that's also a fan of music, you would want to be a part of
Yeah.
a great year. But I'm like, all right, I just gotta follow my own timing. So just seeing people drop music and seeing so much going on, and you just gotta sit back and really like live. But you want something that you worked hard on to be out, and you just really just gotta sit back and just watch. I'm still being productive, but the thing that I love the most is obviously putting out music, and it's just like the stresses of that, like dealing with, you might subconsciously even be thinking like, damn, what if people don't care anymore by the time I put this out, or et cetera, whatever it is. But I had to just have the faith in myself to know that by the time I'm ready, I have enough, and I know what I'm capable of to still make this thing special. And it came out at the right time. It came out in August of 2023, and it it went even further than what I even expected. And I'm just grateful that that I learned something very important. And I feel like sometimes we really gotta like respect time and not rushing anything. And I just let life happen, and I don't regret it at all.
Me and I want to talk about like how big it got because I know you said you weren't even expecting for it to get that big. Before I get there, me and my
Yeah,
friend Rar, we always laugh because we said we love when rappers be like this the realest shit out of a rope. Like we love when niggas say that because it's like usually when they say that it do be like some real stuff. In this album, there's a lot of like vulnerable lyrics. Did you ever feel like you were getting too vulnerable? Did you have to take stuff out? Because like I said, you're talking about
yeah,
like the failing of a relationship and hiding texts. And, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
did you ever feel
yeah.
like this is too much, or did you want to put it everything on the album?
It was one thing that I said that I changed, but it wasn't like nothing crazy. I felt like honestly, I was just like you could think about like a 444 or a Care for Me, or even a Swimming by Mac Miller, like something like that's very home. I feel like I never second guess like putting something out and be like, no, this is too much, because no, this is me. And if I'm going to win at life and win at doing this thing that I love, I just want to be me. And whatever comes with it. But I just know that I'm authentically being myself. So I'm just going to talk about what I'm going through. That's what I have, and I feel like that's my life. But also at the same time, I will say that the From Hotel 1105 with Love record, which is track 9 before the jazz instrumental at the end, like I feel like that one hit home so much for me that like I'm not gonna lie, I can't even count how many times like it made me so emotional to a point where it was hard to even listen to because of how real it was. But I appreciate it even more now. But I'm saying that to say the funny thing is that the last record that I recorded was that, and for that to be the one that I hear a lot of people love the most, that one in Waves and Moonlights, but I hear From Hotel 1105 with Love a lot. For that to be a lot of people's favorite, it's crazy to me because that was the one that I was damn near kind of like, I felt a little bit weird about putting out because it was so personal. But I'm glad I did it, and I know for a fact it's helped a lot of people. And that's what it's all about. That's what we create art for. It's for the people. So
You could hear it
I'm
in your
glad.
you can hear it in your voice on that song because I feel like that might be the most aggressive your delivery sounded on the album. Like because like you're talking about like you're just bearing it out. You know what I'm saying? So it's not gonna come out pretty and nice or whatever. You know what I'm saying? You listen to like a I don't know why this nigga popped in on, but like Mace, like he got such a pretty flow. Who's hot? Who's not?
Yeah,
It wasn't. It's not gonna sound like that because you're not talking about wearing nice clothes and that's. You know what I'm saying? You talking about real life. So I appreciate that because real life isn't perfect. So it's like your flow isn't gonna sound so nice or whatever. Like you sounded aggressive and a little bit like dirty. You know what I'm saying? Like you sound like you just put it out there. So that is for sure one of my favorite songs outside of Faith as well, just because of how different I feel like it sounded. Because the album already has like a jazzy slash soulful sound, but I didn't feel like you delivered a verse like that or verses like that. And yeah, beautiful song. That's a very beautiful song, man. Um, Also, I I don't want to get all in your life or whatever, but Married at 25 is interesting. That's an interesting thing. I
dude.
don't. That's
Dude,
crazy.
I was married at I got married at I'm trying to think in 2020. So I was 23 at the time.
Mm.
Definitely wasn't something that I had planned, but life happens
Yeah.
sometimes. And what I will say is like, because I got divorced last summer, literally like a month before the album came out. um, but one thing I will say is even along this is like how I feel, but also this is along with what I said on the album. Like I never made it in a way where I was like pointing the finger at anybody else. Like obviously any type of you could even know personally like any type of situation you ever had with anybody in life, if it was a difference with a family member or a friend or a partner, like I just wanted to make sure to myself that no matter what mistakes or someone did that made me feel a certain way or whatever, like I feel like at the end of the day, like anything that you have in between you and another person is a two-way street. So I just wanted to kind of pull the curtain back and put the spotlight on me and the things that I need to work on, because at the end of the day, even moving forward past the situation, I still got to come first in my life, and I got to make sure that I'm fine and make sure that I'm doing the things that I need to do to elevate myself to be better and be better for someone else, but most importantly, be better for myself. So, um, yeah, it just happened. And one thing I will say, lastly, is I'm just grateful it did. I don't regret it at all. That's definitely something that I didn't even expect. Like I remember when I was young, and especially in high school, I was always saying like I'm not gonna get married till I'm 35, like or 30, and for it to happen the way it did, I'm just grateful it did, because it really taught me a lot about myself, and about life, and also just about how do I deal with handling people moving forward in the future. So
I
yeah,
know there might be people watching this who are also maybe not going through relationship issues, but just maybe in a low point in their life or whatnot. Because I know you said that was kind of a low for you, obviously,
yeah.
because you're dealing with so much. What did you do personally that kind of helped take your mind off of that? And I'm pretty sure maybe music helped.
Yeah.
But like outside of music, was there anything else that you went to that kind of helped you just stay afloat during that time?
To be honest, like I just started like getting outside more. Like I used to just come home from work, come home and be around, the her and my stepdaughter at the time, and and that was it. Never really wasn't really spending enough time to myself. I feel like so. Anytime like you wanna feel like you wanna release certain emotions, like maybe you just irritated, something simple. You're not letting that out. You're not even giving yourself a chance to
Yeah.
even have a breather, because I'm coming straight from doing one thing and then just coming home, and now I got to deal with other people. And I feel like as people, I think that's something that we always need to realize. Like self-care time is very important, and I feel like I'm learning what the true essence of what that means. The older that I get, and that's something that you really can't teach someone until they really actually spend the time to do that for themselves. So it's like I was always aware of it, but now, especially now that I'm in a different chapter in my life now, I feel like that's so important. And also, it's like one thing that I'm learning that I love about spending even more time with myself now is that the questions that you might have or things that might feel like unanswered, when you spend time to yourself to really think and have a breather away from everybody, you could be doing anything. You could go for a walk, go for a bike ride, or go get something to eat, even going for a drive. Like something that simple can make a big difference at like staying afloat and keeping your mind in the right place. So right now, it's just for me in my life, it's all about mindset, and I feel like that's something that I definitely learned even during the process that kind of kept me in the right mind frame. So I feel like self care time is something that I had to learn, and which is feel like is very very important.
Yeah. Hey, interview side, I'm happy to hear you doing good, brother.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
make my
Because
do.
I mean, like that's life. You know what I'm saying? That's definitely
Yeah,
can life can definitely take a toll sometimes. So I'm glad to hear that you above water as we speak. That's a beautiful thing to hear. And honestly, I think I have to make a correction. I think I was mixing up Summer in Venice with from Hotel 105 with Love, because
okay.
I think that's the song where you're a little bit more aggressive and
Yeah,
because you what you said How can I be a leader when I'm in need of one? That's crazy. That's a bar. That's very. I'm like, this nigga must went to therapy. Like, this is a very in looking inward album. Have you went to therapy?
I'm planning on it. I'm not gonna lie, like it was something that I was afraid of doing, but a lot of my older homies, and even contemporaries, that people that I'm real cool with in the music, like people that I'm close with, I always hear about it, or just seeing the changes that I see from people that I know personally and seeing what it's doing for them. I'm like, you know what? I think it's time for me to do it, and I'm definitely planning on doing it pretty soon. And but that line, like to be honest, like because I was talking about like, and dude, besides even like just the marriage stuff, like I was also like I lost my grandmother. like um, the funny thing is, I lost my grandmother back in November of 2022. Um, but the funny thing is like literally also like the 1105, like Hotel 1105 title isn't just like it's the day that I had got married, November 5th. It was also the last time that I saw my grandmother, November 5th, which was the day of my anniversary, and and I was the last picture that she took with anybody in the family. Um, and then also in that month of November, I also like had gotten a situation where like, long story short, like I was at work, was downtown Chicago, and I was working for a furniture company. And are you familiar with like the little like the sleeper sofas, the
Yeah,
ones that kind of hold
yeah.
out like a bed, heavy, like over like it's probably like 200-300 pounds. I'm pushing it across the street, and literally like before I look both ways, no one's coming. But literally like as I like my foot was about to like plant on the sidewalk, literally like an inch away, a car came out of nowhere and like it smacked the piece that was literally in my hand as close as your phone is to you. And it just skint my forearm, but I didn't get hit. But the piece flew to the corner. So all of this stuff is happening at one time, and I'm saying that to say I also kind of briefly spoke about that on that song, and I'm like, damn. So I'm dealing with this. I damn near almost lost my life, and I thank God that I'm grateful that I'm here, and that situation was crazy. Like it was people riding around like in cars, like in disbelief. It felt like damn near like a superhero movie when they got like getting done fighting, and the whole crowd is just it was crazy. Like it was some random lady like praying in Spanish, and and I'm like this is crazy. Like I'm in shock, but I'm like all of this just happened so quick, and I'm like all of that, you know, kind of made me kind of figure out like all right, I want to really put like a magnifying glass on where I want to continue to do in my life, and also being grateful. So I spoke about that on that record as well, and I just say all that to say like that's what I mean. Like all of this stuff just kind of came together, and it was definitely one of the hardest things I probably had to do.
Hey,
But yeah,
I feel like of course you never want to go through things like that, but I feel
yeah,
like to get some type of payoff from that, I feel like is the love and the reception and the people that are relating to it. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, of course you don't want to lose people in your life or go through near death
mm,
experiences, but it's like if that's going to happen, it's like at least you know what I'm saying. I hope I see something return from all of this. You know what I'm saying?
facts.
And I feel like
Yeah,
you've seen a lot of love and a lot of praise for this album. 'Cause like I said, nigga, I don't know who your fan base is, bro, but they was in them comments, D2x, D2, like they wanted to see me interview you. And
yeah,
here y'all go, nigga. Here go the interview. And I'm
yeah.
glad they told me because I'm a fan now. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna be
Appreciate you, bro.
checking out to see singles you dropping, albums you dropping. So I'm a fan. And like I said, you wasn't even expecting some of the I guess praise to that you got. How exactly did this album blow up? Do you know?
Um, I felt like I extended the rollout for like a long period of time. Like, and I know you still getting a little bit familiar, but I think the way that I started it off was doing something very simple. Like and you'll get to see it, but like literally everything I do is literally just kind of like I feel like I have like a normal Reddit style of marketing, if that makes sense. Like, so I might post like a photo that might be of something that super simple. Like it could be anything, but like I put like a caption to it, which gets people excited for some reason. People go up. So I say that to say the first thing that I did during the process of kind of like rolling this album out was, it was on my Twitter. I had wrote down like album number 2, album 1105. I put 2 cities in between, like a broken heart or something like that. This is like way before it came out, and it hit like 700 likes on Twitter. Like it was going crazy, and like I'm thinking to myself like, wow, like I can't believe that people are really like kind of getting excited just over something I wrote on a notebook. There's no music out, anything. So I kept the notebook thing going. Then as time went on, as I'm continuously working on it, you know, I'm kind of staying communicated with people, putting little Easter eggs out there, and kind of building up to it. So then the next time I did, you know, finish the masterpiece, like finish this album, chapter 2, done. But now I open up the notebook and I have the song titles on there with the album title, but I scratched it off in red, and it's already a red book, which I wrote most of this album in a notebook, which I feel like that was the other thing that was people were able to draw through, because this was like the first time that I made majority of my music from pen this time instead of my phone. So that gave me opportunity to make it like a personal, intimate thing. So then I did that, and then dude, just a bunch of stuff just started happening. Like I was getting back outside again after taking that break to myself throughout the years. Started getting back outside again, and then the first show that I did back after the pandemic was at this venue called Schuber's in Chicago. It was like 300 capacity. We sold out. I headlined, and then I rapped some shit off the album that was on the Dreams of Adolescence song over Devil in a New Dress beat. That was the last song that I did at the end of the night, and it went up. Then I announced the album title. Then literally like a month later, that was in June or July. Like a month later, I announced my album at Soldier Field in Chicago, like where the Chicago Bears play. But it was a Major League Soccer game that night for the Chicago Fire, and they gave me a customized jersey. I was on the Jumbotron. They played the music, and I announced that, and I used those pictures and posted it on Twitter. And now it's like at like 1,000 likes now, like over almost 200,000 views. So all of these things that's just regular. Like I'm not even planning these things like to happen. It's just all coming together, and it was a bunch of stuff on top of that. So it's like literally like just so much cool things was just going on in my life, and I used that as the rollout. And then I did the real rollout where I wore the suit, and I was kind of going for this James Bond aesthetic, and I was just dropping like short film trailers every single week leading up to the album date, which I announced prior. Yeah. So all of this was something that I had planned for a while, but it was just a bunch of other things that was just literally just coming off the top of my head that I put together. So I say all that to say, like, your life really could be your rollout. Yeah. And when I realized that, I feel like that's what made people kind of be even more excited for it, because things was just coming out naturally. So.
Hey, you winning, man. You winning that life, man. You winning right now, man. You know what I'm saying, bro? You out here doing your thing. You got a kid?
Nah.
No kids. Hey, man. You I was finna say, hey, man. A nice way to look at it, man. Hey, man. I was finna call you a dad, but you're not a dad. I was finna say, divorced dad's winning, man. You know what I'm saying? Dame just won the 3-point shootout contest. You got the MVP. Hey, man. Divorced niggas winning, man.
I saw that. That's hilarious.
You know what I'm saying? Divorced niggas might be winning, man.
Right. Nah, you know what though? Like, even though I wanted, you know, that situation to work out. I tell people close to me this all the time. Like, I'm actually grateful that things happened the way it did, because I'm still young, number one, but I'm also at a point in my life where I feel like I've experienced things that a lot of people haven't gotten to experience yet or are trying to work their way up to. And it's kind of given me even thicker skin to be able to deal with music and life in general. So I feel like if I could go through that, and then and also just that whole entire time period of, you know, 2022 to 23, like, shit. And then obviously coming from Chicago, like I feel like I could literally do anything. So, um, yeah, man, I just got to keep going. Like everybody got their own path, timing. Sometimes it gets hard to know that, but one thing that I do want to say, like genuinely, bro, like one thing that I saw yesterday that somebody I saw had posted on Instagram was they said something like if you're doing what you're supposed to do, then what's supposed to happen will.
Mm.
And after seeing that, it's like it just gave me a lot of reassurance. Like no matter how long this takes, like I just gotta continuously just doing what I've been doing. Just keep showing up, like Hov said at the Grammys, and as long as you do that, man, you really can't even trip about expecting too much because whatever you put out there and you coming from a real place about it, everything else is gonna take care of itself. So
So you
yeah,
brought up something. You said like coming from Chicago, you could do anything, and
yeah,
I was gonna ask this anyway. I don't know how to. I don't want to get in my DJ Vlad bag about this,
you're
but
right.
like I'm from
Yeah,
Jacksonville, so Jacksonville's crazy. Jacksonville, Florida is a pretty crazy city. Very lot of violence, a lot of craziness happens here. From what I think, like from what I see about Chicago, they act like Chicago's like just the wild, wild west, and you know what I'm saying. So like honestly,
yeah.
like from your perspective, like how is like Chicago? Like is Chicago like is it do you feel like you need to have your P's and Q's? You know what I'm saying? Like because
Yeah.
I don't know. Just as somebody who's lives in Chicago, I just want to hear it from you. Like how's Chicago? You know how really specifically what's going on with the black people of Chicago? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right.
How's the black people of Chicago going? That's really what I'm asking.
You know what, man? I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, I feel like, to be honest, like any other city, like you know where to go and where not to. And I feel like Chicago is that, but I just feel like the the energy or the vibes I'll say is like, excuse me. You definitely have like different kind of energy going on out here. Is basically what I'm trying to say. I feel like for somebody like me personally, I've always damn near like stayed out the way my whole life, and I've stayed to myself, so I know where to be and where not to. But to be honest, like it do be a lot going on, I would say. But it's like if you smart and you ain't, and also on top of that, if you're not in with the shit and like you're not in those situations where you kind of causing trouble on yourself, I feel like you have a better way to maneuver throughout the city if that makes sense. So ain't nobody looking for me that I know of. Like, and I feel like if you moving right, bro, and you ain't got like you have a less of a target to even be worried about. But I will say like stuff happens every day here, like
Yeah.
often. But like it ain't like what people think it is at the same time. Like this, you don't just come to Chicago and it's just like Call of Duty, fucking war zone like everywhere. It don't work like that. But at the same time, it's like it's shit that always happens a lot. And even people that I know personally, or even family that I lost to like the gun violence in Chicago. But what I will say is like, man, I just feel like as long as you just stay out the way, you're not like you're not putting that type of weird energy on yourself because it's always people watching. I feel like you'll be fine. Downtown is beautiful and a whole bunch of other areas, so it's like the whole entire Chicago isn't terrible. But like I say, you got bad areas just like anywhere else.
I,
But
I always say that I feel like low key what could help a crime ridden city? Low key. Because I seen it here in Jacksonville. When the sports team is good, niggas low key be getting together. Niggas low key be getting along. Low key. And I know y'all not in the best spot with sports right now.
no,
You
not
know what
at
I'm
all.
saying? Not in the best spot right now with the Bears. I know I heard you bring up the Bears and so the
Yeah.
Bulls, but yeah. When have you ever seen that? Like when the Bulls are good. All right, I mean it's been a minute, but like when like D Rose is there or whatever, like do you feel like a sense of community when the sports is good?
Man, everybody loved D Rose at the time. Like I don't know, I feel like I feel like you got a point away. Like I feel like to be honest, I just feel like when stuff is good things are going on, and people doing things to like stay busy. I feel like that alleviates a lot of trouble. But at the end of the day, I just feel like trouble just gonna keep happening regardless.
Yeah.
It don't even matter like what's going on to be honest with you because it's like even if everyone wakes up with that mindset, um, it's just gonna always be that certain group of people that might be upset at each other about some shit that don't got nothing to do
Yeah.
with anything that we can even understand. And so I feel like that cycle, um, is gonna forever continue. But at the same time, though, it's not just all negative, and also like the music scene is doing a lot better. I'll say not nowadays. I think which you probably know, but people say that often here or that's not here is like how Chicago lacks like a music industry or et cetera, et cetera. But I feel like at the end of the day, like I feel like one thing I can say is nowadays, even coming from here and just in general, like the music industry is changing in a way where like, um, and I know I'm kind of going off subject,
No, you
but
good.
like I'm just saying that to say like I feel like everything is more community based nowadays. So I just feel like as long as you moving right and you showing love to people and you not putting that type of energy on yourself, like I feel like you're gonna always excel no matter where you at. So I feel like trouble is everywhere, but it don't necessarily have to follow you if you're doing the right thing.
No, for sure. And I don't know if these dudes are from Chicago or not, but how
Yeah,
did the NFR guys? How did they find your stuff?
they're from they're from Montreal, Canada.
Oh, okay, they're not from America. That's
Yeah,
okay.
NFR podcast is they going crazy right now. Are you familiar with them at all?
I've seen them before. I've never
Yeah,
watched a video, but that's
man,
you
like,
see how much I know, nigga. I thought it was from Chicago.
yeah,
You see how much I know.
right. Nah, they're dope though. Anthony and Luca on NFR, and they got a whole team over there. But to be honest, the way they found out about me was when I dropped my first album. This was 2021. A fan referred them to my music from Bandcamp.
Mm.
Literally, that's how they found out about me, and they've always showed love, no matter how big they've gotten. Because now I think they get like 1 million on TikTok, and they've been doing Anthony Fantano interviews and just a bunch of cool stuff. They interview Earth Gang, like they've been doing great things, and there's more coming. And I just will say like I just appreciate genuine people, and I feel like they've always showed love. So
Yeah.
it's like even you, bro, like for real, like I don't really expect much from anybody other than just good energy from people. So I feel like people have been always been supportive of me since then, and especially them, just because they just generally rock with who I am. I feel like, and when you make good music at the same time, you know, depending on who feels that way, could it just helps everything. So I've been able to definitely get a lot more of broaden my community by getting support from those guys. So I always appreciate it. And,
But, no, of course, man.
shout
Like I
out
said,
to
I'm not only
yeah,
is the music good, you know what I'm saying. Like I said, man, black man trying to just do the right thing. You feel me? How can I
yeah,
not? How can I not appreciate that? You know what I'm saying, man? You ain't talking about no foolishness in your music. You know what I'm saying, man?
yeah,
The brother really trying to live right. You know what I'm saying? Learn from mistakes. You know what I'm saying? Really just trying to grow and evolve. So anybody with that type of message and you making good music, I'm here to support. So of course, I'm definitely rocking with you. And also the music is really good. But I'm gonna tell you what really sold me. I grew up playing basketball, and I heard you
wow,
did as well. So I was like, all right,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying? I'm always loving a good basketball story. You still hoop?
How long did you play? Oh my bad.
No, 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 no. I mean, I just kind of played around like all my life until like high school or whatever.
Yeah,
Did you what position you played?
I was a two guard. I played at St. Rita in Chicago. Um, if for anybody that don't know of or hasn't been, like it's on 79th and Western on the south side. It's a Catholic school, and I played varsity all 4 years. Was all conference senior year. Um, but the thing is, it's like I damn near could have kept going with it, but I feel like I was just in a situation where I should have been somewhere else where I would have been more of the focal point, and not later, if that makes sense. Because starting early off, like we had we had a bunch of guys that was like nationally ranked. Like a few of them played in the NBA now. Well, they got opportunity to play in the NBA. They overseas now. It was this guy named Charles Matthews that played at Michigan, and he played at Kentucky first. And then another guy named Vic Law who played at Northwestern. And they both overseas now, but they were really good. So they were like nationally ranked and stuff like that. And then like I just seen like John Calipari like come to our open gyms and a whole bunch of other coaches. I want to say even Duke was recruiting Charles at the time. I don't even know if I probably seen Coach K too. I had
Mm.
seen a lot of coaches coming through, and like early off in my career, I was getting recruited by certain schools like UIC, Creighton, Loyola, Maryland. Like it was a few, but the whole idea of like everybody want to make it to the league and everybody want to be like the next big thing, and just having to come to realization with that, I'm like, you know what, this was like my freshman year in college. I had went to Western Illinois, and I was thinking about just walking on to the team, and because I wanted to go to a Division I school, and I'm just like, you know what, they wasn't really that good, to be honest, and really never have. Like they in a Summit League, which is it's cool, but it ain't what you would think like Big East or SEC or ACC. And I'm like, you know what? I'm like, I think I'd rather just try to do something else that I feel like I could have more of a benefit out of, and that's kind of how I got into music. I always been a big hip hop fan my whole life, and I just when I started, I just got into it, and I'm just like, I know I'm not gonna be that great at it right now, but I know that my messages and what I want to say is kind of clear, and that never changed for me. So yeah, like hooping is always gonna be a part of me. I still play sometimes to this day. I really need to get back consistent with it, but I ain't trying to be like one of them like LA Fitness niggas with the sleeve and the jersey,
That
like
is
taking
hilarious.
it so serious. Like, nah, I had enough, but I do love it, and I never stop watching basketball as well. So.
Growing up, who did you kind of pattern your game after the most?
Starting off, I was, to be honest, like when I was like in 6th and 7th grade, I was like 5'8", 5'9", 5. No, I was like 5'10", and I was like 6'1" when I got to like 7th, 8th grade. So I was always taller than everybody and stronger than everybody. Like I was lifting weights when I was like 11. And so my favorite player at the time, like when you the tallest dude, when you, especially in middle school, like you damn near gonna most likely be playing forward or something like that. So I really, really loved Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce at a certain point in time, and then it translated to Kevin Durant being my favorite player. So like when he was on the Thunder, like 2012, 13, 14, like that was my favorite player. And yeah, like now I really don't really have a favorite no more. Like I do love watching LeBron play now, but I feel like Kevin Durant was probably like my last like real favorite player until he kept going to like 4-5
teams. It seems to be
yeah.
like an age thing where if you're in a certain age range, a bunch of niggas be like, KD's my guy. Like niggas loved KD. I was never a huge KD guy just because I'm a Heat fan. So, you know what I'm saying? We weren't really rocking with the Thunder like that.
Yeah.
But niggas who, like, wasn't Heat fans seem to love... Why do you think niggas love KD so much?
I don't know, man. I just feel like, to be honest, I just feel like he's just to make the game... Like, he still do now, but I'm just saying when, like, that prime of his career, like, he was just making everything look easy. Like I said, like, the league has kind of changed now where... forwards and taller players are becoming a little bit more mobile, but like
everybody look like him now, but not everybody looked like that back then.
Yeah. I'm like, you ain't never really seen a player that was 6'9", 6'10", like handling the ball, shooting, and just making the shit look so easy. And now, like, still, even now to this day, like his mid-range game is like, it's 9 times out of 10. I just be watching. I'm like, I already know it's about to go in when he throw it up, and like, just seeing somebody play so effortlessly like that, I feel like that's what made a lot of people drawn to him. Like he made the game look cool. And another person I'll say that I feel like also had that kind of thing going on with them, these like in this time, is like even Stephen Curry, especially like 2015. Like everybody, I think he had like damn near the highest selling jersey at the time. Like everybody, all the kids was imitating like Steph Curry. So I feel like when you younger and you seeing somebody doing things that's like seem like they not really even putting much effort into it, but it's a lot of work behind it. Like I feel like those are the kind of players that people really, really love watching. They just make the game look easy.
Basketball would never be the same because of Steph Curry. Like I'm not gonna lie, Steph Curry has helped and hurt the game because not everybody could do what he could do, but everybody be trying to do what he do. Like not everybody needs like if you're on if you're doing a fast break and you got a 2-on-1 going on and like or let's say a 3-on-1 and like both niggas are trying to like be on like I don't know niggas you'll be on a fast break and like niggas will cut to the 3-point line and it's like bro you got like an open lane to get a like layup like what are you doing? I hate that like it's just Like man, niggas are
He,
Steph Curry done inflated niggas' egos, and
he did.
man,
He
not
did.
not everybody could do that. Not everybody could shoot like Dame. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody can shoot like that, but it is very that's very cool to be that influential. You know what I'm saying? Like the fact that literally it's niggas that are shooting damn near half court shots because of that man,
I
and
know.
that's yeah. Shout out to Steph Curry, man. That's an
Who's
influential guy.
your favorite player growing up?
I'm a D Wade. So being back to the Heat, I'm a
D-Wade,
D
okay.
Wade guy. I watched a lot of AI growing up. I was a point a lot of times. So Steve Nash, I was obsessed with throwing the crazy no look passes or whatever. So I
Yes.
studied Steve Nash like no look passes and stuff. So it was a bunch of guards. Dwayne Wade's my favorite player all the time.
All right.
Steve Nash, AI. Um, man, it boy before he got hurt, D Rose was my guy. I was rocking with D Rose heavy before he got hurt. So yeah.
I just one last question on that.
Yeah.
Like, I often ask this like to like some of my homies, like, and obviously like it's always gonna be like that. What if? But if he never got hurt, where do you personally think he would have been right now in his career? Like, do you think that run he was on with just being dominant? Do you think it would have kept going right now? Like, what do you feel like? What would have happened
I don't know
to his
about
career?
right now because he's a little older
Yeah,
right now, but I mean, you look at John Morant, like
yeah,
outside because John Morant could shoot better than him, but he was John Morant before John Morant because he's smaller guy dunking on niggas, explosive like bro. D Rose was playing 100% in damn like preseason games. Like, bro, calm down, bro. Like, you dunking a
yeah,
little too
yeah.
hard, bro.
Yeah, he
And that's
was
how
playing too
that's how I
hard.
feel looking at John Morant. I'm like, bro, it is not that serious. It is preseason game number 2. Like, chill out. And he
Yeah,
played with such a high motor. I mean, like I remember with my dad, we had watched the entire series. I think it was his rookie season when they had played the Celtics in the playoffs. It was like a round one, went 7 games, and I'm like, bro, this is one of the best rookies I've ever seen in my life. So yeah, I think he would have been one of the most. I think he would have been multiple times the MVP. Like I think he would have been super super high ceiling. But yeah, that injury just
true.
man, it
Yeah,
messed him up, man. Messed him up. Shout out D Rose. I was a big D Rose fan growing up for
right.
sure. But yeah, I don't want to keep you for too long. I appreciate you coming through, man. If there's any last words you gotta say to the people out there watching, man, let it be known.
Yeah, I know you don't know this yet, but I made an announcement.
Album 3.
Actually, yeah.
Yeah, I'm tapped in. Nigga. I'm
Oh,
tapped
okay,
in,
okay,
man. I'm
okay,
tapped in, man. No,
okay.
I
Yeah,
seen it, man.
man.
Hold on, is it damn? I'm gonna get the title wrong, but I know it's something like Hunger Mode or something, right? Or
Yeah, the Hunger Era.
Hunger
That's the
Air.
name
See,
of the
I'm
project.
tapped in. I'm tapped in. I'm
Hey,
tapped in.
man, I'm excited about that because this is like a pivot for me. Getting back to my more like confident side, getting back to like a just a certain version of me. Like even me and you we was just talking about like growing up. Like my whole life, I've been like this ambitious kind of kid, and also another thing I didn't even get a chance to really tap into, but like just growing up, like 2010, the Dat Piff era, like listening to Wale More About Nothing or the Mac Miller mixtapes and the Cole projects, and it's like that type of hip hop is something that I always grew up loving. So that's literally like the next step for me is just getting to a more confident space, and I'm still gonna speak about things that I deal with in my life, but this is gonna definitely be like I feel like a big jump for my music and my career moving forward. Like we finally in a brighter headspace now. So yeah.
Shit, man. Hey, I can't wait to see what you got coming up next. For everybody watching, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Until next time, I say what I mean what I say. Haters gonna hate, players gonna play, and y'all holla at your boy.